This is In the Final Analysis.
Welcome to an In the Final Analysis podcast Minisode. Here is your host and the financial advisor for Wisdom Financial Management, Joe Frederick. Hi, Joe.
Hello, Kylie. How are you today?
So far, so good. How about you?
Doing great. Doing great. Been kind of busy, but it's been good.
Good. Yeah. Yes. Hello, everybody. I am Kylie, the media support manager here at Wisdom. So today's podcast, we are going to be continuing our series on kind of finance and investing 101 topics for generations. And we are on our final generation of the series now. We're going to be
Yeah.
talking about estate planning for baby boomers. Yay.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a big one. This is
This
a
is
big
a
one.
big one,
Yeah.
literally. Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, baby boomers, or often shortened to just boomers, are the generation born between like the mid 1940s to like mid 1960s. And they're named that because of the heightened birth rate post World War II. There was literally a baby boom. So many people were born. Baby boomers are usually the parents of many people who are Gen Xers and millennials. And in the United States, as we said, big baby boom, large topic. They are the second largest generation by population after millennials now. And they're sometimes described as the most powerful of the generations that are out there right now. Um, a lot of baby boomers came into adulthood kind of during that post-war era of economic growth and a focus on education and a lot happening all over the world, but especially the United States. And so they started reaching retirement age around like 2010. So there's a very large amount of people in this generation who've had quite a bit of time to an opportunity to accumulate wealth and enjoy a post-work lifestyle and plan their legacies.
Based on what you just said, so as far as the growth of baby boomers and where they're at, just a couple of stats as far as retirement, because um, obviously baby boomers are they've been through a lot.
Yes.
They've been through a whole lot. So a couple of financial crises, the 2008 recession, the drop in 2020. They've had a lot going on, but just for sheer numbers of what we're seeing as far as retirement, because they're in a situation, obviously, as we've talked in every generation as far as retirement. So in the 1980s and through the 1990s, Social Security saw a pretty stable payout of about 20 million getting benefits from Social Security. Okay. In 2010, it was like 29 and a half million.
Wow.
Okay. By 2023, it was 40 million receiving benefits. So basically, in about 2 decades, because of the baby boomers getting in retirement, Social Security has doubled. So that obviously that's put a lot of stress on Social Security. And there's a worry there, as with every generation, is it going to be there? Is it going to be bankrupt? Are we going to continue to get benefits? Are our benefits going to get cut? All that is, a big thing for baby boomers just by, sheer numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, does it seem like, you know, they're doing all right in retirement? Like, what is their life
Well,
looking like, at least
yeah,
financially?
as you said, baby boomers, they had some of the best financial growth, with that. As far as economics were concerned, college was obviously a lot less expensive, things like that, than what kids are dealing with now or young adults are dealing with now as far as what they pay for college. The job market was very strong. There was a lot of jobs out there. Everything was booming. Okay. But they ran into some issues. Uh, they were the first generation to deal with defined contribution programs.
Okay.
So they were the first generation to have to save for their own retirement.
Ah,
All right. So the defined kind of benefit plans started to go away. So like a lot of companies with pension plans and things like that, that started to move away. The baby boomers were the first to have to deal with, we got to save for our own retirement. Okay. Um, and that puts some stress. And, as it stands out, the commerce, um, of economics, with the US, I think I said that right, commerce of economics. But anyway, it's like 52.5% of baby boomers have 250,000 or less as far as their retirement.
Oh, wow.
Like 14.6 have 500,000 or less for, retirement. So they were, so yeah, a lot of them are hoping on Social Security, which you could see the struggle, what that's going to be, and being the first to have to plan for your own retirement, with that. And, according to there's a Transamerica Retirement Center, um, they show research that like only 26% of baby boomers um, have prepared themselves with other retirement plans if they're forced to retire early,
Oh,
that they're ready with a different plan. So 26% is very low of people that are prepared. And obviously what's happening now, I mean, we've seen it in the government with, trying to do all these cuts in government, and corporations are doing the same thing. So people are being forced to retire early, possibly, but only 26% by what Transamerica Retirement Center says. Um, very few people are prepared if something like that happens, and they're relying on Social Security. So they're in a tough. It seems like they're in a tough spot. You know,
gotcha.
hopefully that's not the case, but
Yes,
you know,
hopefully so. Yeah.
yeah, hopefully, yeah, yeah,
So, for all of the baby boomers who are at that point and are, you know, in or at their retirement and planning out the rest of their life journey, um, what are some of the key decisions that go into estate planning?
yeah. Estate planning is very, very, very important, for anybody, not just baby boomers, but for anybody. Um, the one thing I always tell people, number one, is make sure you have a will.
Yes.
A living will, uh, obviously a will that's going to state what everybody gets, after you're gone, after you pass. That is very important because, um, you certainly do not want to die without a will, because it's a possibility that the state comes in, they can appoint an executor, and they can kind of determine where everything goes. So most importantly, make sure you have a will. But in estate planning, is very good, because it manages what you have, during your life, and control your assets and your financials while you're here. And then it can also control, obviously, after death. And it's things like, if you become incapacitated, you can't make decisions for yourself. All that's already, in your estate planning. You're trying to minimize taxation as much as you can, with estate planning. You're trying to avoid probate. So there's a lot of good things to go into estate planning that can help you. And obviously it helps the people you're leaving behind, because it takes care of all that. But, having a will, having a living will, and then having a will is very important, because obviously healthcare is a big issue. Um, as far as being in a hospital and who makes that decision and things like that, it's hard. So, um, you know, all those things are help. And, estate planning is very, very important, especially for baby boomers right now, because, um, they're at a point where, and, love, we talked about this last time too, they're still at a point too, because everybody's living longer now. Retirement can be 20, it can be 30 years, it can be whatever. A lot of them are having to take care of their parents still, and that causes a financial burden as well. So there's a lot of good things that come out, with estate planning. But when you do that, there's estate planning attorneys out there, that you need to get with that can help you, or you can get with a financial advisor to make sure everything's in line with what you're doing along those lines. But having an attorney as well is really good.
No, yeah, that's great advice. We are always in support of being educated and prepared here at
Oh,
Wisdom.
100%.
And so as part of estate planning, so much of what you're planning is about inheritance. And we've talked before in this Minisode series about how there is going to be about this huge transfer of generational wealth that comes with some of that inheritance. So when you're planning these, the passing down of financial assets, I know it can be a little complicated when it comes to investments, and how that works, getting that transferred to your descendants.
Well, actually, it could be with what we just talked about with proper estate planning. Obviously, when you're putting your accounts together, you're naming beneficiaries and things like that. So with your will and your good estate planning, it actually becomes pretty simple. Other than the fact that whoever inherits is going to have to pay the taxes on it. The
Right.
government, the government's going to get theirs. They're going to, whether it's
Always.
always, yeah, yeah. Unless it's like an IRA Roth account, which all that's gone in after tax, so all that growth and everything comes out. It's already been taxed when it went in. It doesn't get taxed when it comes out. But every other account and things like that, 401ks, there's going to be taxes that whoever inherits that is going to get. The good thing is you can kind of offset that. They don't necessarily have to take the money out right away. Like say it's in an IRA, and somebody inherits it. Say that twice. But anyway, they don't necessarily have to take it out right away. They can roll it over into another IRA. They basically have 10 years to take the full amount, out. So they can take some each year, but that kind of offsets the big tax burden. Like if you took it all at once, and took it out. So there's things, taxation wise that you can benefit when you inherit those things. But as long as, again, everything is set up properly, by the person who is leaving it behind, it should pass through pretty simple as far as when you inherit, a IRA or 401k or however, whatever financial accounts that you have. Yeah.
I'm glad that it can end up being simple as long as you've taken the time to make sure that your estate plan is including all of those things and working with a professional to make sure that not only is the government going to be happy, but
Right.
that you
Yeah.
feel good about how you're leaving everything behind.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. The more you're prepared, obviously the better and easier it comes for, the people behind you. There's a lot of good things that come to that. Nobody wants to do it. I get it. It's one of those unfortunate things that we have to do, but it's important for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not every subject we end up talking about here on the podcast will always be a cheery one, but we will always make sure that
Yeah.
we
Right.
are offering you all, you know, professional insight and educational resources that will hopefully help you out so that you can go at it intellectually and not just in bad emotion about a bad emotional state about it.
Yeah, and that's always true. But yeah, like you said, we're very informational. I know on our website there's many white papers that Jim has in there that kind of explain for someone what to do. Um, any of our clients or anybody that we have that someone passes, we're able to send this to them, and it's very descriptive on things you need to do and who you need to contact, for the family members that are left behind to, hopefully make it a little bit easier on them. But yeah, you hate talking about those things, but we do have things out there for people that really can help as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Listeners, if you'd like to find those yourself, you can go to our website, www.wisdomchoice.net. Our white papers are in the special news tab. And then you can also go to our financial intelligence tab. We have a resource hub both for retirement and for estate. And that's going to be articles, videos, calculators, different types of educational resources to make sure that you feel as prepared as possible, whether you're going into it yourself or if you're going to talk to a financial professional like us. Right. And then that is going to be the end of our kind of generational finance 101 series. You all are just going to have to stay tuned for what we talk about next here on the In the Final Analysis minisodes.
Don't we have like confetti or balloons to throw at the
I know. We'll see if I can play with effects in the editing.
Yeah.
All right. If you would like to listen back on our past generational finance episodes, you can again go to www.wisdomchoice.net. In the special news tab is where our podcast lives. And if you have any questions about your estate plans, or if you just want to, ask us to dive deeper into anything that we've talked about, it, please don't hesitate to reach out. We are an education first organization. And so anything that you feel like it would be helpful to learn about, absolutely let us know. We would love to help. All right. Thank you so much, Joe. We'll see you next time.
All right. Enjoyed it. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to The Final Analysis. We try to keep you informed. Be sure that you're on the email list and call us if you have any questions whatsoever. Discussions in this show should not be construed as specific recommendations or investment advice. Always consult with your investment professionals before making important investment decisions. Securities offered through Cambridge Investment Research, Inc., a registered broker-dealer, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services through Cambridge Investment Research Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor. Cambridge and Wisdom Financial Management, LLC are not affiliated.